Salvete omnes, this is imamelia, also known as TheMartianGeek. You might be wondering why we're looking at a cutscene and why that cutscene has music. Well, I keep going on about how the Genesis version does this differently from the Super Nintendo version, and the Genesis version does that differently, and blah-de-blah-de-blah. Well, now it's actually time to see and hear the Genesis version for ourselves. Why is that? Because there was a level in the Genesis version that was actually not in the Super Nintendo version. I'm not really sure why. Yeah, the toys scare Sid so bad that he grows up to become a garbage man in Toy Story 3 and all, but whatever. The important part is, we are on to what would be level 16 in the Genesis version, Daytona, where we have to drive our RC car back to Andy's house to pick up Buzz, and we get 2 stars for every power cell we collect. So there must be 25 power cells. I had to have the cutscene included because otherwise I wouldn't have had enough time for my explanation, because if you spend too much time at the Etch-a-Sketch screen, it automatically takes you into the level. Like that. So here goes. Yeah, it's another RC car level, except instead of being top-down like level 5 was, it's like behind view or something. And yeah, and I already missed a power cell. You don't actually have to get every single power cell, as you can see. I just missed 2 of them. But you want to get most of them. Obviously, well, they give you stars and they power up your timer. The point is, this level is essentially the Genesis equivalent of Mode 7, whatever that would be. I'm not too well versed on Genesis hardware, okay? And actually, because of Mode 7, I'm not really sure why they didn't put this in the Super Nintendo version. It's possible it was a reason other than hardware limitations, but if they were worried about hardware limitations, you'd think it could handle it. I mean, that perky little 21.47 MHz processor is capable of more than you'd expect it to be. Like level 11, for example. I mean, you'd think if the Super Nintendo could handle something like really inside the claw machine, it could handle Daytona. I don't know. But yeah, this level also has no checkpoints, but it's actually not that difficult. Especially if you had trouble with the first RC car level. I'd say this one's significantly easier than that one, because you don't have to get all the power cells, they don't bounce around, and I'm not going to say the controls are easier, but you don't ricochet all over the place when you hit the edges. You can't actually drive like all the way onto the grass and way off track. There's essentially an invisible barrier there. And we are at the end of the level already. Yeah, like I said, that was pretty short, pretty easy. And yeah, the Genesis version also gives you music for when you complete the level. And yeah, I missed 2 power cells, so I only got 46 stars, whatever. But that was the end of that, and now we'll go back to the Super Nintendo version for the other level 16. And now back to level 16 in the Super Nintendo version, which would be level 17 in the Genesis version. Light my fire. Keep on racing, head after the moving van, yada yada yada, and get the power cells for Pete's sake. Yeah, it's another RC car level, in case you were wondering. And instead of being in Andy's room this time, we're in the streets of wherever Andy happens to live. And instead of bumping into Buzz, well, Buzz is riding on the car with us, with Woody. So, we just have to pick up the batteries. Now, the thing about this one is, I'm not really sure whether I'd call it harder or easier than the other RC car level, level 5. Because, well, this one's certainly shorter, and you don't have to worry about bumping into Buzz, you can just pick up the batteries. But on the other hand, the battery goes a lot quicker, and if you don't know where you're going, this one can be kind of confusing. The passageways are wider, so there's that. Also, you really can't get 50 stars in this one, but, oh yeah, it's also a lot shorter. See how quick that went? Yeah, 34. There are some stars in that level that are in places that I'm not sure how the heck you'd get all of them in one go. You'd either have to lose lives or just be an absolute amazing computer player, probably. I'm not sure. I'm literally not sure it's humanly possible to get 50 stars in that one in one try. But enough talk about that level, and on to the last level of the game, actually. Level 17 in the Super Nintendo version, or 18 on the Genesis. Rocket Man. This is it. The truck is in sight, and Andy's mom's car is just in front of it. Reach the car, and you're no longer lost. Toys! Good luck, and Godspeed.
Here it comes.
And I only have one hit point, so this is not going to last long. In fact, I should probably just die immediately. Because you probably want to have all the spare HP you can for this one.
Here it comes.
Basically, the way it works is, if you hit anything, just by a glancing blow,
watch out.
You
Here
lose one hit. If you run headlong into it, you instantly die.
Watch out.
And you're dodging trucks, cars, whatever the heck those green things are. I'm guessing trees.
Watch out.
And vans.
Watch out. Here it comes.
This is another one where you might not want to get the stars. Just like level 16, the stars kind of guide your way.
Watch out. Ow.
So, if you can leave them intact, then you'll have a better idea of where to go.
Here it comes.
Oh hey, we're onto this part of the level. Yeah, that's no ordinary car, truck, or van.
Here it comes.
It's a big, huge, massive... it is the moving van! But, if we're going to get into it, or past it, we need to go all the way down here. Yeah, that'll be the only safe spot on the screen. And there's Andy's mom's car.
Here it comes.
Yeah, there's another star over there, but really, you don't need to get that one. It's the last level of the game, and you're not going to get every star anyway. And if you did, it wouldn't matter, because, well, it's the last level. And that is the end. I think we get a cutscene anyway. Woody, Buzz, they were right here in this box. See, I knew they'd turn up soon enough. As Woody breaths a big sigh of relief. Is that a typo there? And after this, Woody and Buzz told them all about their big adventure. And, well, it's Toy Story. I mean, you know the story of Toy Story. From that day on, Woody and Buzz were best friends, and whenever a new toy came into the bedroom, they were welcomed as friends as well. For friendship is magic! For the toys had learned a great lesson. While it's nice to be Andy's favorite, all a toy really needs to be is the best toy it can be. And they all lived happily ever after. And... well done, you have completed Toy Story. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for playing. And that's actually all the congratulations you get at the end of the game in the Super Nintendo version. In the Genesis version, it's a little different, as we'll find out immediately. Well, okay, not immediately. I forgot about this. So we do get credits. Published by Disney Interactive. Not that it really matters too much. We don't even get any music for this part. I can't remember if you get anything after the credits sequence, though. But the Genesis version actually shows you, like, all the characters in the game and stuff, so I might switch over to that one once again to show off that. I wonder why they didn't put music in this part, though. ROM space issue, maybe? But yeah, it's a completely silent credits sequence. And, well, I guess that's the end of the game, sort of. I mean, do I actually need to say anything when I go to the Genesis version? Overall, I'd say this game is actually pretty good. I mean, it's a solid 2D platformer for the Super Nintendo and Genesis. And it was actually one of the original 9 cartridges that came with my Super Nintendo system when I got it. So I guess it has a little bit of sentimental value that way. It came out the same year as the movie of Toy Story. Now, as far as the game goes, well, it does have a few flaws. Most notably, no save system. This game would be a lot less irritating to play on a real console if it weren't for that. I mean, it's not like there aren't levels in there that are easy to trip you up. Like level 12, the claw. If you suck at that one level, but you're fine with the first 11, well, you're going to have to start the game over from the beginning every time you get to that one. Oh yeah, and we're back to the title screen. That was an underwhelming credit sequence, I guess. Like I said, no music. But yeah, I guess I don't know how much cartridges of this game go for, because I've never tried to buy one, because I don't need to. But if you have a Super Nintendo or a Genesis and you see this game for sale somewhere, give it a try. You shouldn't be disappointed. As far as which version to get, well, I'd still recommend the Super Nintendo version. Like I said, maybe I'm biased, but... Oh yeah, I'll go through this again. Okay, listen to the music, whatever. Strange things are happening to me. The Genesis version just seems to be more difficult overall, and not in a good way. And it doesn't give you any more opportunities to save than the Super Nintendo version does, so there's that to consider. But really, whatever. It's your choice. Now, let's see that other sequence, shall we? Well, let's listen to the music a little bit more first. This game does have pretty good graphics and music, too. Well, okay, it has good graphics. The music is just decent, I guess. I mean, the only tunes that really stand out to me are just a couple of them, like the ones for level 11, really inside the claw machine, for the boss battle with Buzz in the gas station. That said, though, this game has the weirdest music engine I've ever seen in a Super Nintendo game, if the SBCs are anything to go by. I think I mentioned that already, though. So, like I said, give it a try. And the music should end right about here. Or not. Well, whatever. Yeah, the well done screen looks a bit different in this version. Sounds a bit different too, considering the Genesis version actually puts music in the cutscenes. And now it's time for the cast of characters, sort of. For whatever reason, they decided to use the music from level 6 for this part. Hey, at least you get to hear the Genesis version of that track, right? We get to see Rex and Rocky and Ham and all those other guys. We don't get to see Woody. He doesn't show up in the cast of characters. Presumably that's because he's the player character and he never shows up as an enemy or boss. Or mount, for that matter, like Rex does. Everybody else is an enemy or a boss, or, in Rex's case, you know. Robot's just called Robot. And the Snake is just called Snake. And the Snake did not show up in the Super Nintendo version, as I mentioned when I was playing the 6th level of the game. With that, well, we're essentially done with Toy Story. 18 levels, 6 episodes, 3 weeks. If only I could stick to that kind of schedule consistently. That said, though, well, this is the first Let's Play project I finished in 2013. I hope it doesn't turn out to be the last. Because once again, I'm really not sure if I should keep doing this, honestly. I mean, it seems like my LPs were never really all that successful from the get-go. And not only did they never improve in that respect, if anything, they got worse. Like, I've noticed that my earliest videos, or at least some of them, seem to be the ones that people view and comment on the most. Despite the fact that they're distinctly lower quality than my current ones. I'd like to think now I'm at least better at enunciating and probably have a better microphone. But whatever. I've been told that I don't really have the voice for it. That my voice is kind of grating to listen to sometimes. I mean, let's be honest here, am I really that annoying to listen to? Guess I could certainly switch to text commentary if necessary. I don't have any of those cute little facial expression icons like Pink Kitty Rose does, but yeah, whatever. I also will willingly admit that I don't really have much in the way of charisma, which would probably really help in Let's Playing. So, I don't know. I feel like maybe it's just that there are alternatives to watching my videos that are more entertaining and probably more professionally done. Oh yeah, this credits theme is only in the Genesis version, unless it's embedded in the Super Nintendo ROM somewhere and just isn't used. You don't get music during the credits sequence in that one, so... I actually like this music too, it's a shame it wasn't used in the other version. It's a nice little remix of the main theme. But in any case, what do you guys think? Should I keep going? Should I keep making videos? I mean, I do still have more projects planned, but if they don't even turn out to be worth the time, if nobody really gets anything out of them, I don't know. Yeah, I want to listen to the rest of the music, even though it means going through the credit sequence a second time. I hope you don't mind. I don't really care for the Genesis sound font much, but sometimes it's produced some pretty good stuff. Not too familiar with Genesis games. Except obviously Sonic the Hedgehog. Actually, that one instrument, this actually kind of sounds like something from Mega Man 7, in fact. Okay, yeah, I can just quit now. Yeah, in the Genesis version, unlike the Super Nintendo version, you go all the way back to the logos at the start after the credits instead of just the title screen. And with that, well, we really are done with Toy Story. I know I enjoyed it. I sure hope you did. And when or if I decide to do my next project, I hope you can come along for the ride. So, I'll see you then.